In this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about the timeline, which is mostly where you're going to set up how your video is going to look like. The timeline is where you're going to place all of your media, meaning videos, audio, effects, text, everything. And it works the same way as it would if you're placing all of these in the physical world properly on a table. So if you place a photo on the table, but you place another one on top, you're only going to be able to see the one that is on top because it's covering the one that is below. And it works the same way here. Let me show you. I'm going to do the same that I did before, just dragging and dropping a new file over here. And now we have this other drawn clip. Okay, so let's throw this video here on the timeline and you're going to be able to see that we have this white cursor, which indicates where in time we are. Here we have the numbers from 0 and forward, meaning the time on this timeline. So if we just press play, we bring it here and we press spacebar to play, you're going to be able to see that it's going forward because it's playing the video. When I zoom out, you're going to be able to see here in the preview panel what's going on. And you can see that there's only this video over here. The other one begins right at this mark. So if we just play from here, you're going to be able to see that it's playing the video below and suddenly it gets covered by the one that is above. And that's exactly how it's going to work. Whenever you stack stuff on top of each other, you're going to be able to see what's on top. Okay, so I showed you how to drag and drop these videos onto the timeline, but what if you don't want the whole video to be in there? Now there are two different options. The first one is that you can cut it before importing or after importing. After importing means that you have the whole video over here, and when you go with the mouse closer by, you're going to be able to see that it changes. The cursor just changes to this double-sided arrow, and you can drag and drop it to the left or to the right, meaning you're going to be able to expand or make it smaller. So let's say I wanted it to start about here, after that shadow on the lower part. Okay, so we can just do that. And now it goes back to showing me the timeline itself. So this part is not being covered anymore by that video. But I can still drag it and drop it to whatever place I want around here. So one other way of doing it is clicking up here in the media panel in the video that you want to insert and getting these handles here, exactly the way that you did on the timeline itself, and throwing it to the right or to the left to find the in point and the out point where you want it to end. So let's say you just wanted this small piece that now is surrounded by this blue box. You can now drag and drop it on the timeline and you're going to be able to see that it's much smaller than the original one, meaning that it only took that small piece. Or you can just click this plus button and it's going to add to track at the beginning. And then you can put it wherever you want it. And now one cool thing is that you can actually see up here which of these clips have you already added to the timeline so that you don't use it again by mistake, and which ones you've used it but using a cropped version, a cut version. So if these, you can be aware if you're using a clip for a second time, or if there's maybe a part of a clip that you haven't used yet, so you can still check for another piece and use it in other part of the video. Now here on the right, you're going to have some specific timeline settings and a couple of options more. So let's go one by one. The first ones that I want to show you and you're going to notice immediately is that there's a recording button over here, which actually is going to open this recording panel so that you can do voiceovers directly inside CapCut. You don't need to record it anywhere else and then import it here. You can just do it directly inside the software. So easy. And another one you're probably going to use all the time, which is this magnifying tool over here. Let me show you zoomed out how you're going to see it. And it just means that the more you go to the right, the zoomed in you're going to be in the timeline itself so that you can change things with a lot of precision. Or if you want to have a bird's eye view of what's going on, you can just throw it to the left and see the whole timeline with all the clips. Now we have the main track magnet, the auto snapping, the linkage between video and audio, and the preview axis. So the main track magnet means that whenever you grab something from the main track over here, meaning the first one, it's just gonna drag everything all together, and when you let it go, it's just gonna snap back to the beginning. So it won't let you have a gap right at the start by mistake. That can be very useful, but if you wanna have a little bit more control, you can turn it off, and now you're gonna be able to drag everything and just place it wherever you want, and then you can just insert whatever you prefer in the beginning. By the way, these ones are important for you to know because they're easily disabled or enabled through shortcuts on the keyboard. So maybe you're gonna see that something changes on the timeline, the behavior just changed and you don't know what it is. You can check because it's probably gonna be one of these. And the preview axis is the one that enables you to just scroll the mouse over the timeline and immediately see on the preview panel what's going on. If your computer can handle it, it can be very practical because you immediately see where you're at in the video. But if you don't like it or it's just slowing you down, you can disable it And now when you go with the mouse over the timeline, you won't see anything. You're gonna have to drag the playhead alongside with the cursor, click and drag to be able to see on the preview panel where you are on the timeline and what you can see at that point. And clicking one of the clips here on the timeline, you see that also there are some options now here on the left. And these are things that mostly you can do also on the upper right panel, but you can have them here more accessible also through shortcuts. So you can see there we have all these select, split, and select leftwards and rightwards. So you can just grab one of these, like for example the split, and just cut a video in two, then go back to select, and now you see that we have two different videos separated that we can just drag and drop separately. Or you can use the shortcut that we just saw there, B, so that it changes the cursor, and now you can cut the video as much as you want, and A to come back to the original one, and now you can just select them, drop them, and do whatever you want. If you use select leftward, you're going to be able to select everything that is to the left of where you click on the timeline. In this case here, everything that is in this direction. And if you select everything rightward, you're going to be able to select everything that is to the right of that one, including all these layers here. When you're very comfortable with these tools, using the shortcuts is going to make everything much faster. Later on, we're going to talk a little bit more about them. And here we have some other options like split, which is just going to split the selected clip in two where the playhead is. Delete or backspace is going to eliminate that clip that is selected. So now I have to click a new one to see the options again. Now freeze is a very interesting option because sometimes you just want to pause the video for a second and see an image for a little bit longer. So let me zoom out here a little bit. And you can see that here we just have the drone going forward. But let's say I just wanted to stop in this image here for 5 seconds to show something on screen, like text, for example. I can just click the clip, click on freeze, and it's going to create a 3 seconds freeze frame where it is. And then right after, we have the clip continuing from where it stopped normally with the movement. Other cool options we're going to find over here are the reverse. So it's just going to grab a clip like this, for example, in which the drone is going forward. You can click the clip over here and then click on reverse. It's gonna do its thing and it's just going to reverse this clip backwards. So now if we play this one, it's actually going backwards. There's also the mirror option in which it's just going to mirror the video around. You can do the way you prefer. And as I said before, you can access all of these up here on the right also and have a little bit more control. And the last option we got over here is the cropping. So you can just click crop, it's gonna open this new window, and now you can just select how much of this video you actually wanna show on screen. So let's say you just wanted this portion over here of the video, you can just click confirm, and now you see that you can just see that part that you cropped before. And last but not least, let me just show you something that is very cool about the timeline in CapCut by adding some other items here like stickers, text, effects, or maybe a filter. Let me zoom here on the left of the timeline for you to be able to see very clearly what's going on. So CapCut organizes everything automatically for you. So you have all the layers, and it doesn't allow you for you to have video and other effects, text, or things in the same line. So all of these are going to be videos. This is a layer just for text. This one is a layer just for stickers, and this one for filters. And you can also lock them, meaning that you cannot move these around anymore, so that's going to be in place. And you can also hide them by clicking this eye icon over here. And in the ones that have audio, you can also mute it by clicking this icon over here. Differently from other editors, CapCut tries to keep video and audio together. So if you import a clip that has audio, like this one for example, you're going to be able to see that actually the audio is down here. It's this small line below the preview of the video. So if I just try to drag it up or down, you're going to be able to see that I'm playing with the volume of the audio. But it makes it a little bit difficult to control this way. So one thing you can do is right click and go to separate audio. And now you're going to be able to see that there's a layer with the audio symbol down here, and this is the audio of that video over there, for which you also have the control of blocking or muting if you'd like. Now to select things on the timeline, you can either click on them individually or you can drag and create a rectangle around everything that you want to select. And now they're all going to move together. And actually, if this is exactly the way you wanted it to be, you could click with the right mouse button and come up to group. And this is going to create a group amongst all of these. So now if you click any of them, you're actually going to be selecting all of them at the same time, so that you don't have to repeat the same action 1 million times by dragging, selecting all of them together, and then moving it around. Now one click is enough and you can drag all of it wherever you want. So in this lesson, you learned everything you need to know to navigate the timeline with any kind of object you want to place in there. Editing later on is going to be all about stacking things in the timeline to show whatever you want and moving them around the way you just learned. Now we're ready to move on to the next lesson, in which we're going to talk about all the parameters we can change for one video clip. This includes some basic things like positioning and zooming on the videos, but also some truly insane ones that CapCut offers, especially for being a free software. See you there.